Hello, hello. Happy Sunday, everybody. I am very glad to be back in my regular Sunday Astro Tarot and seeing all the lovely people. Hi, Juan and Kate and Adva. Hi, Clover. I think you got my email. I did email you back. It's been a week and we have another week coming up. I'm going to go over the transits for this upcoming week. I think that when we are going through massive systemic change, hey, Tanya, I think when we are going through such big transits in the sky and things happening in real life, keeping it down to let's just look at this week is really, really helpful. Of course, like doing solar returns on a personal level is great, but that's when we have somebody's birth info and all the other pertinent information where we can also look for how amazing, that year will be. Right now, when things feel a little tense, we're just going to look 1 week at a time. So I'm going to look at the astrology, the transits for this week. We're going to be taking a quick glance at that Aries full moon. It's just a couple of degrees from mine, and some of the really nice aspects actually to that full moon. Again, the last two or three new moons were far more crunchy than our full moons were. So don't get hung up on labels. If you want to understand all of that more and proper terminology that's meant to deconstruct any fear around astrology, transits, full moons, eclipses, all of that, membership is a great place to do that. Our membership is growing, but we have membership like lessons, and we've gone through all the houses, all the planets. We're doing the signs right now. I go through like moon water. We talk about lots of stuff that goes deeper. And besides, you can have your chart looked at. I'm going to do a membership later after this, where if you make it to the live, I will look at your chart for this full moon, or I can pull a card. But we do lots of stuff like that. So there's links somewhere. I always feel like you're on YouTube, so like the internet, not, you've got that down. I don't have to parentify you through where to find the join button. Hey, Kina and DeRay and Cole and Vanessa, happy to have you all here. So we are going to go first through a quickie astrology for the week and how that might play out for you, not so much out in the world. That you should be absolutely listening to Lori Rivers if you are not already. Be on the Patreon for Awake Space. So she's going to tell you everything that's going on weather-wise, world events. She's the GOAT when it comes to that. I'm going to talk about how this may play out in how it might feel more personal, how it might show up in the daily to-dos and our external, like maybe people in our lives, for everyone for just this week, including a little quickie on the full moon. And then we're going to pull cards for what the transits are going to be. I like to really get you as much detail as possible. So when I am pulling tarot in the context of the week's transits, it really helps. So first astrology and then tarot, and they should reflect each other. All right, so I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to pop out the chat. If you want a more personal look at the full moon, we do that in membership. I see a question. So that's where we do that. But I will go over what it looks like. Today, the moon is conjunct Saturn as we speak. We have a little pile up in Pisces. So we have this moon, and you can follow my cursor, but we have the moon and Saturn, and that is weird. Okay. So today we have the moon and Saturn and Neptune all lined up here. What's interesting is they are, well, especially the moon is opposite Venus, which means you've got that moon in Pisces, which is really lovely, and Venus in Virgo, which really wants exactly what it wants, and values the details of things in a seesaw, right? This may evoke you really wanting to put some of your goals, dreams, right? Dreams or goals with deadlines, or goals or dreams with deadlines, into play, like find a way to harness them, especially with Saturn there. And because Saturn and Neptune are longer, slower transits, as Venus moves up, we're going to feel that more and more. You're going to start to feel that this week, that like, how can I use the energy of Saturn to concretize something, to put it into tangible results, long-term things that stand the test of time, with that Venus in Virgo, which doesn't want to just dream about it, wants to really get the details and get it done. The production and getting things done is it's going to be important to Virgo. So that Venus Virgo, is the two together, is really beautiful. We're gonna still have that Pluto Uranus trine for quite some time. And of course, we have Neptune now at 0 degrees of Aries. And when we are at 0 degrees of anything, it holds, it has its most potentiality. It's brand new, can express any way. It's not exactly wild card energy, but it's very malleable. And so what we do, that writing thing is not worth its issues. We really can take that along with, we have Jupiter in a trine with this today. It could feel lovely after not feeling lovely for a while. We have Mercury in this conversation as well. This could all feel, it could feel a little bit more peaceful today, especially compared to the chaos that was like let's call it the last 2 weeks, but especially the last 10 days. I don't think I've talked to one person that didn't feel like the last week was brought to you by the letters of W, T, and F. Let's look at tomorrow and that full moon. We're going to go one day out and a couple of hours. We have a 14 degree full moon. There we are. So we have the moon in, my Lord, let me erase that. So we have the full moon in Aries. And what's interesting about this, it's speaking to Mars a little bit, which is its ruler, right? We have a quincunx, which means it's not sharing anything. It's not sharing a polarity, modality, an element. However, it is in the rulership. So this can move things that I find when we have that aspect, that conversation between planets, especially when one holds the rulership. It can feel inconvenient, but also be moving things that we want moved, situations that have felt stagnant, especially with a Martian full moon and Mars in one of its rulers of Scorpio. This is a very powerful Mars. It is making, I said it's making a square to Pluto. It's such a loose square, but it's also, it's a pretty powerful Mars. And then, of course, we have Mercury at that 0 degrees at its full malleable potential, making a square to Pluto here. When things are in the same modality and close in degree, that's a square or an opposition. This is not eclipse energy. The eclipse season is technically over, right? We'll get to it again in spring. So there can be a little decompression here. This can feel, and this should feel really, really personal, in a good way. That Mars in Scorpio can ask us to take action, to look deeper into things. And what I want you to do in the name of Aries moon, which most of you know, but I am an Aries moon. Aries moon is really protective. It can be an advocate. Sure, when it's undeveloped, it can be a little Yosemite Sam. Sorry if you're very young and you don't know that reference, but if you're very young, you also know how to work the internet, so you'll get to it and you'll get it. It'll make sense. But that the full moon is when that is when the fruit is ripe to pick. That is when we watch our hard work pay off. And yes, it can feel busy. And this might feel busy, but it might feel busy in a good way. Hey, Patty. To look, and hey, Maricela and Little John, to look deeper under things also, and advocate for yourself, but in a diplomatic way, not in a get the F out of my way, not in anger, not in I'm getting what I want and whoever gets hurt. Sounds like a them problem. It's not that. It's diplomatic. And it is active. And we're going to look deeper into things. Now, if you look deeper into something with all this transformative energy and all the potentials of how things can express, we may not have all the information we are looking for. We may get information, but we may not get all the details yet. We're going to want it. But don't be reactive tomorrow. Advocate for yourself, and do it in such a diplomatic way that 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now, 3 years from now, you're not wanting to hide that correspondence. You're not embarrassed about how you handled something. You did not, take the high road. There is a way to take the high road, and maybe if you don't feel heard, you don't feel heard tomorrow. But just know that you said your piece and you did it in a diplomatic way, and then let things sit. In the light of the full moon, everything is fully illuminated, which means we're going to feel all of these planets, right? Everything is visible. We are going to see a lot of information come up. But what I'm saying is that we may not have all the details, might not be completely unfolded yet. And so until we have that, even though we're going to want to act, the way to act is for ourselves. We can find the deeper meanings to things. We can go looking deeper before we take action. We can make sure that we're advocating for ourselves. We can make sure that we're being diplomatic about it, because we don't have to fight. We don't have to be tough to get our point across. I mean, I think we see way too much of that out in the world right now, right? Listen, if you've got the brains of Stephen Hawking and the body of, I don't know, because I don't care about people that look, not that I don't care, but it doesn't interest me enough to know everybody's names, but some big, strong guy, good for you. But, this is not a bench press contest for this full moon. This is really asking us to employ all the best of us. Again, let's not forget we have the water trine from Saturn to Jupiter. What we care about, we can put work into, we can make moves and keep things really. Michael, you know me so well, Tom Hardy. Yeah, he's big and strong, but he's smart too. He is the compassionate, empathetic, woke, big, strong guy with a good brain. Ugh, not even fair that he exists as a real human. Um, so we have Venus talking to Jupiter, which is lovely in a sextile. They get along very well. They work together very well. We have Jupiter in a trine and an I love you more, unfettered flow of energy between Saturn and Jupiter. So make plans. If emotional things come up, and maybe not everybody's listening to an astrologer saying when shit goes hitting the wall tomorrow, be diplomatic, because you'll thank yourself 3 months later that you'll be like, yeah, you want to see the text? That's what I wrote. you there's so many other places to put your energy in the illumination of what is available to us with these 0-degree planets, with a new moon in Aries, which is the beginning. It's the start. Sorry, a full moon in Aries. Aries is the starter energy. It's cardinal. It's the first sign of the zodiac. There's so much potential. The rulership is in Scorpio at 10 degrees. This is really kind of lovely. And also, if other people are Yosemite Sam, we're going to let that continue to be a them problem. I might have given this example before, but when my kids were little, my daughter was very precocious, and she would say something or do something, and maybe a little bit of a stubborn streak, and she would say or do something like take a toy away or tell them like, you can't play. If you can't play it that way, then you can't play it at all. And it wasn't even hers, right? But then my son, I mean, I'm talking when they're little, will put hands on her. And I said, you could have just left that, her problem. Now I got to punish you because you put your hands up. Just come tell me. I'm not saying everybody has to walk around on eggshells ready to fight tomorrow, but if stuff gets messy in real life tomorrow, or you're feeling messy emotions internally, take a breath and go concentrate on all the other things that there is to take details, expansion, and work and make things and re-examine how you are creating systems to make sure the things that you want have longevity, that they have legs. That is what you want to do with this energy on a personal basis. But I'm telling you, walk away and don't put verbal hands on someone. Walk away and just be a diplomat and tell people that's interesting that you feel that way. I'm going to take that into consideration. Let's have a deeper conversation about this another time. I would not, because not everybody is going to approach it with the understanding and the maturity, but you are. Let's look at, as we go into Tuesday, now we have the moon moving into these later degrees. It is going to square Tuesday with Jupiter. The moon in Aries is going to be squaring Jupiter on Tuesday. So all the things that I said about the full moon and Monday's energy, just copy and paste that to Tuesday. That's not the day either. It is a day to create system. It is a day to like figure out what you want. It is a day to take action. It is a day to look privately, to look deeper into the reasons of things and maybe not act on it yet. And we still have Mercury squaring Pluto in Aquarius, which is a very interesting, it's fixed. It's going to be kind of knowledgeable, and Scorpio Mercury is not going to say more than they have to, but probably squaring Pluto would be very direct. And this has the potential to be in the hands of two people that are excellent communicators, that are far along on their journey, that do no harm and take no shit and know how to be diplomatic. That square could move things, change things in an amazing way. Transformative, deep conversation. That's kind of sexy, actually. If even one of those people is not what I just described, this could be the, like, you can't take that back. You said what you said, like that. I can't undo your words. I can't unhear them. I can't unknow that you feel that way. So copy and paste Monday into Tuesday. As we get into Wednesday, you know, Mars is moving. It's in an opposition with the moon this day. This, I would be grabbing whatever information that I could. I would think that deeper information would still be available to you this day. And I would do that with as much comfort as possible. I would set myself up. I call that taking care of tomorrow, Suzzy. When I set my coffee up in the I have a cheap little espresso maker. It's like my favorite thing. I grind the beans, put the cinnamon and the peppercorns and the star anise and my cloves in there and get it all set up. So the next morning, if I know I'm going to have a late night, I'm going to be tired, all I have to do is press that button. We want to do things for Wednesday where we are preemptively setting up the comfort. Make sure your favorite blanket is ready. Make sure you've got your favorite movies available. Order your favorite snacks. Go pick them up someplace. And balance what you are doing. Do not shame yourself for what you don't get done that day. Do not shame yourself for what you don't get done that day. You're still probably processing. We're just coming out of that we're still in a full moon energy. We're still in the full moon energy. And you're going to want to get things done, but we're reworking the systems. We are re-looking at information we maybe didn't have before, and now the details are starting to unfold. Then as we get into, this is really early Friday morning, we have moon conjunct Uranus, which we'll have once a month for, as long for the next 7 years while Uranus is in Gemini. But we'll have that Gemini. This is very buzzy, right? You might feel very buzzed. You might feel very electric this day. This is also another great day to get a lot of stuff done. Now we have Mercury and Mars almost in what I would call a conjunction. They're still 7 degrees apart, but they may be influencing each other. And it depends on your personal placements. This could be spicy in a very sexy way, and this could be spicy in a way. It also, you could have incredible epiphanies and deep thoughts and take action on them and find relief, find transformation for things. Oh, it's going to shut down, watch. Yeah. So as we get into Saturday, the moon's going to move through Gemini. It's going to start to make squares to Venus and also to Saturn. And we can also, a Saturday might be a great day if you have to do fall cleanup, if you want to go get your house decorated for Halloween, if you want to go carve those pumpkins. That will probably feel like a day full of productive energy and getting things done and setting things up to look good for a while. as well as a day full of like really creative ideas. Squares create creative energy. And with the brilliance of a Gemini moon, and three of the most important men in my life, including my father and my son, are Gemini moon. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of all the air moons. But you know, we really can have an incredible, productive, brilliant. So set that day aside, and by all means, after the couple of weeks, if we have this really great day and there's new opportunities, you've accomplished things, you're seeing the fruit of your rewards, we have a little bit more information, we have those illuminated days, we have that Jupiter and Saturn and Venus all talking to each other, which is lovely. Take the opportunity Saturday to put that energy and creative energy into things that make you happy. Things that absolutely make you happy. And there it goes. Okay. Let me grab that chat back. Give me 1 second, guys, to find my floating chat. There it is. Okay. There we are. Oh, let's go through each of the 12 signs. And what we will do is we are going to look at, I'm reading the chat. We're going to look at what can we, or rather for each sign, where within ourselves can we pull the strength to get what we want and make it last? Where is the best advice from spirit, like how to go about that? Because sometimes we feel that Venus Saturn energy, right? We feel that Venus Saturn Jupiter energy. We're not sure, how do we make that happen? I'm so happy that like there's available energy for me to like take what I dream about, what I want most, and bring it, expand it, and bring it into a reality that actually lasts, that isn't fleeting. Listen, when we live in a universe where the one constant is change, that means a lot of us have like gotten into that happy relationship or gotten to an incredible financial place or whatnot. And a lot of us have seen things come and go. And so there could be triggers and trauma responses around, oh, this will be really great, but I don't want to bring it on and then feel disappointed or feel hurt because what if it doesn't last? So we're going to look at each sign. What are the tools you have available for you to make this incredible, to take the energy of the active full moon and make what you want last? What are the best tools for each sign right now? And then let's just pull for fun, because it's an Aries moon, and Aries moons are, you know, with Mars and Scorpio. That's all a little sexy, spicy energy. Should we pull some cards, like some like love relationship cards also for each sign? Okay. Okay. Aries. Hey, Adva and Jazzy. Okay, this is interesting. Aries is very some of the most psychic people I know are Aries men, and have known. One of the best past life readers I've ever known was an Aries moon. They can be very perceptive, very intuitive. All signs can be. There's something that you're holding on to, and it may be Aries, that the best way to deal with this is to not hold attachment, especially if we are intuiting something, but it's not showing up for us. It feels a little unstable. So in other words, we're intuiting like this potentially could be something, and it depends on somebody else. And we're intuiting that they also feel that energy, but in real life, none of the actions are confirming the intuition. It doesn't mean your intuition is wrong. It doesn't mean how you're intuiting something is wrong. It doesn't mean your clairs are off. It just means that some people will not take action with their feelings. This might especially be around when we're having that Gemini moon, and people will want to move into logic-based. Not that Gemini moon isn't emotional, but especially with Uranus there and everything else, they just might be distracted away from their emotional world. Aries is, it's a task and a half to pull Aries away from their emotional world. It's just innate, right? There's one, don't be hard on yourself. Your intuition is not wrong. Okay, if you're grounding and doing all your practices and that's what you're getting, or that's what you're feeling around something, I'm sure you're not wrong. However, the best tools for you this week to take what you want and put it into long term is to release the idea that it depends on another person, and just in general release the attachments. Let's pull, I'm going to do a different deck so Spirit has all of its words. Let's see what we have. Love, relationship, romance, brown chicken, brown cow. Brown chicken, brown cow, in case you're new. Okay, you are possibly either getting over something that kind of gave you a little wound. Also, if you are somebody who is in that stage of your life that preggers could be a thing, and I'm just saying that you might, Aries people, you might be a little extra fertile right now. Aries, I think you have somebody either coming back, but more possibly you have somebody that's like freshly coming in. For some reason, I'm getting the feeling like this might be somebody that you know, and it just never went there. Like, I don't even know that there's been a conversation. It might be somebody you only lightly know, but if you know them already, I don't know that this has been like a full relationship. I feel like it almost was. I think both of you, it might be somebody that you know and respect, to be honest, and because of recent disappointments in other people or relationships, like it's been kept at bay. I got a Knight of Pentacles, and I got to tell you, it's always hilarious to get a Knight of Pentacles for Aries, because and I can be impatient as fuck. But a Knight of Pentacles is kind of annoying to Aries energy, because it's that like, could you go any slower? Knight, right? But the difference between that night, for me, the difference between that night and the other nights is the other nights are there to, like, drop the information, drop the panties, like love bomb. And while the Knight of Pentacles is kind of annoyingly slow, he's not just there for a good time. They want to be there for a long time. So we have potential, and I think this is something that I think that both of you have felt the potential and haven't wanted to like make the other part, whether it's a work relationship or a friendship or something else, or maybe you have like one of you dated somebody else's ex like a long, long time ago or something. There's just some other complication here. Not complication, but it's like timing, and like actually the timing feels good now. It just hasn't been in the past, or there's just been unresolved, people who didn't process things. And you don't want somebody coming at you that hasn't fully processed their last relationship. That is not a good foundation. So I really actually like this for Aries. Slip these guys back in. That's what she said. All right, let's look at Taurus. Taurus, what is the best way for you to approach this week so that you can really use the most out of that Jupiter and Saturn and Venus, and also that reaping your rewards and seeing all the information and all that activity. Thank you as always, Juan. Woo. You know when you used to play like table hockey with anyone? Did you ever do that? Like play table hockey like with a straw and like the straw wrapper, and you use like, I constantly use my elbows to block the cards from falling off the table, and you can tell I was raised with boys. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so Taurus, there's something you've possibly been moving slow on, and the tool that you can use is the confidence and knowing like it's safe to move forward. This is giving boss energy. This is giving it's funny, we had this conversation at the astrologers roundtable, the difference between working out of ego and having confidence in a honed skill. And I got to tell you, Taurus, this is confidence in a honed skill. So coming out of that Knight of Pentacles energy, we're moving too slow. It's time for things to speed up and for you to know that you are the foundation, you are the stability. So you bring the stability with you. You don't have to worry about how stable the next thing is that you move into. But your confidence is the tool. What is that saying from the confidence? Confidence, the food of the wise man and the liquor of the fool. It is the bread of the wise man. If anybody knows whether it's the food or it is the food of the wise man for you right now, Taurus. Taurus rising, sun, moon, second house energy, Venus. And if you hear a message that just feels like it was meant for you, then it was meant for you. Your guides will get you to the messages you're supposed to hear. Also, I don't care if you're Taurus, sun, moon, rising, and you're like, none of that resonates, then it's not for you, and it's okay to leave it. It's okay for you to leave it. But look at how wise that emperor is. That is hone skill. That is a very like Saturnian emperor rather than like a very like Martian Venusian emperor. I said what I said. Okay, let's look for you for love. Maybe some brown chicken, brown cow. Relationships. Okay. Okay, Taurus, there's something that's like so close to coming to an end. Now, this doesn't mean your relationship is coming to an end, but it could just be that like the way that you two have been interacting, this has been a burden. You may have taken on something for a partner, or you may have taken on something out of financial burden. There's some kind of burden here that you willingly took on at one point because it made the most sense. It was what you needed for survival. You're very ready to put the load down. And it could be, maybe you're going to have a transformative conversation this week. If you are in a relationship that just feels like maybe the other person is fragile, like you are so close to having closure where closure is needed. Come on, one more for Taurus. Not a dump. What else do we have? And it's interesting because that if you are a Taurus rising, that Mars and Scorpio could, depending on your rising, if you're an early rising, that could be in your 7th house. So getting to the depth and putting action to the depth of something. There's a new start here. So whether you're ending something with somebody else and getting a new start with somebody, a separate person, or whether this is ending a bad cycle in your relationship and starting new. I do kind of love this for you. And you're going to have that Scorpio and Mars just kind of moving through the opposite house wherever your Taurus placements are. And so don't be afraid to look under the rock. Let that Scorpio Mars help you, because that's a gorgeous card to end with for that love reading. When a Page of Pentacles comes, it's like the opportunity is there. And that's what this, again, Aries full moon, that energy is going to last for quite a bit during the week. That's a starter energy. So we love that for you. All right, let's look at Gemini. And if you're just watching these sign by sign, because I will cut them up and put them out tomorrow, like 12 different videos, then make sure you're please watching the astrology part. And if you want to book personal readings, whether that's tarot or astrology, you can go to my website, which is in the description box. The astrology is going to take you to woke astrology anyway. But we have all kinds of, including relationship communication, which you can either do metaphysical or astrology. Hey, Farfully. Okay. Geminis. Lovely Geminis. Okay, this is really interesting. You are in a position to help. You are in a position, we have the Queen of Pentacles here. This is abundance. This is very full moon. Queen of Pentacles she knows she is the stability, right? Which I just talked about for Taurus. She knows she is the stability. There is reciprocity here. The tools that you need to create longevity and legs for the things that you want this week, while we have this incredible Aries full moon run by that Mars in Scorpio, and also having the Mars in Scorpio and the Mercury in Scorpio talking to that Pluto, but also that Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter conversation we have going on right now. I love this. The tools that you need is to know that you don't let anybody ever convince you that you're flaky or you're not stable. Gemini placements, you have what you need. And while generosity is always lovely, I have a tendency sometimes to be overly generous with some things. Even know that you're in a good position, somebody owes you something, possibly an apology, possibly something else. There could be a conversation where maybe that person can't give you the thing, right? But having a diplomatic conversation and allowing that boundary while standing in your power without being overpowering, but just empowering that situation. Queen of Pentacles is really beautiful energy, Gemini. And then we have this card for like reciprocity and fairness. The Six of Pentacles. I think that you have a little bit of like things that might be going well for you in the way that it matters, and maybe not going as well for them. It could be that things are going well for you in your love life and your career, but they have more money than you, or the opposite. It's not saying that everything is perfect in your life. It's important to have the conversation around this energy, because it feels like there was possibly an avoidance around the conversation, and the pretending is not helping either. We've got two pentacles here. If you didn't know already, because we just had the conversation about like a lot of things, sometimes we finally get what we want and it doesn't last, and that can be a little triggering and traumatizing. Whatever you have going on right now that you really like and you want more of that, tell universe, more of that, please, because you have the energy to pull that in right now. And don't forget, I said on Saturday, especially when that Saturday and Sunday, when that moon moves into the square between the Venus and the Saturn, you're going to be able to really manifest, get what you want, create systems, but make sure you're having the conversations and having the boundaries so that when you do get the abundance, whatever that means for you, there's a clear message, not only between you and maybe this other person or persons, but between you and universe and your higher self, that like, I have boundaries, and that's why I get to keep the abundance that I build. I don't give it away, and I don't let people abuse me around that subject, you know? Let's see what you have coming in for love, Gemini. It's the conversation that's important, not the payback of whatever, whether it's an apology, a hug, some money, a favor. It's about the conversation. You are really standing strong to have that conversation diplomatically. Well, I love that for you, Gemini. All right. What are the love cards? I've been listening to Mia a lot lately. Okay. Okay, what's interesting here is that there might be a Knight of Wands involved. It popped out. Gemini does not mind a Knight of Wands because it's interesting. It runs its finger over the Gemini brain in a way that's very, very sexy. If there is somebody who is making you feel less than, the bottom line is your love cards is that you have more power in the situation than you think you do. You have a lot more power in this romantic situation. It might be a situationship kind of thing, but 1000% you have more power in it. And look at these cards. They came out sideways. You have more power in this situation, and you are the one that they want, whether they're avoiding their own feelings. Listen, if you want to deal with that, vaya con Dios, you know? But don't sit there thinking that you're less desirable, or you have to do something different, or you have to, like in Gemini fashion, like bring out another authentic part of you, because you do duality, which we are so grateful for, because that creates invention. And so many good actors are Gemini, right? Like there's so many different genuine parts to people who have Gemini energy. And so, but you don't have to, like, whatever mood you're in, own that mood. Don't, even though it's not two-faced and it's not fake, don't mold yourself to make this other person happy. I don't think they want you to know how much power you have in that relationship. Okay. Let's look at Cancers. Should I have eaten before I sat down to this? Yes. Did I? Ooh. Cancer. Oh, right away. Oh. Okay, what tools are we using? That is very interesting. What tools are we using to really give legs to what you want and how to deal with this week? Sorry, the cat, of course, broke into the room, if you can see the cracked door. And he's under here rubbing into my legs, and his fur is coming up and hitting my face. You don't like that sound that I just said? I mean, listen, it's very interesting. Again, we have power dynamic here. The tools are communication, but communication in a way that you don't tiptoe into that communication all wrapped in your overthinking. Do not trap yourself in your own thoughts. I might have gone oof because I feel a little called out by these cards, because I do that often. I want to have that conversation. I want to have the catharsis. And I overthink, and I pull back my punches when it comes to the conversation. Certainly something I've done. We also have the Hierophant here. So this makes me know that if you do your regulations, get your nervous system into parasympathetic. I have videos on this channel about it. Get yourself regulated and get out, get into your body and ground. And don't do this to yourself. Don't torture yourself. Where is it? Don't torture yourself with the trapping yourself in your thoughts. This is upside down, the Eight of Swords, which means don't do that. The tool is don't do that. There's some rules and framing, right? Which is very Saturnian, even though this is Taurus card. You could be dealing with somebody with Taurus placements, but for this week, this is about you and your tools. The rules kind of help you. Get out of your head. Stop worrying that you're the problem as much, which Cancer can do, especially because sometimes things don't feel as steady when you have Cancerian energy, because you're ebbing and flowing with the moon, not only when they're changing signs, but when they're changing phases. So Eight of Wands is very busy, and there could be a lot of communication. If this is about communication opening up that maybe hasn't been, you might want to say A, B, and C. If I didn't need to talk to you for a week, then I don't need to talk to you now. Play within, this is normally would not find the Hierophant diplomatic, but play within the confines, play within the rules of this conversation, and don't just release any anxiety around that you are just stay calm, cool, and collected, and say what you have to say. I really feel, because wands are passionate too. It's not only like conversation and fast and communication, but it's passionate communication, or else it would be I feel like whatever this conversation about, whatever this interaction is about, that you are going to say what you need to say and stay within whatever structure you need, whatever, set yourself up for, like, if this conversation happens, these are the things I won't say, and these are the things I need to say, and not put it all on myself and not over worry and not go in dysregulated. Because I think this conversation, what I'm feeling is it unfolds over time, and there are things that you will know later that if you went both guns blazing for this, you might not have regrets, but feel like, I wish I had known that. So rather than going in full guns blazing, say what you need to say, make sure you're not dysregulated. And yeah, there's a little bit of rules around it, but that structure is going to help you not get dysregulated and still stay passionate. Okay. It could even be a break in conversation, or a break in lack of communication, and just to pull back so you don't give all of yourself as soon as somebody else feels like they're ready again. Especially if Cancer, because Cancer cares, if you ask this person, like, you're okay, and they're like, yeah, I'm just busy, but it's not the normal, it's contrast to your normal kinds of conversation or volume conversation. All right, let's look for love. Let's look for love. That tracks. Woo! Okay. You have a little bit of an admirer, Cancer. Somebody that likes you is not good with their words. I don't like pedestals. They may have you on a pedestal a little bit. You may want to, like, help them find the words for their feelings, because it might be like overwhelmingly obvious and just the words are not being said. This is going to unfold. You have some stuff unfolding, Cancer, right now. You've got Jupiter, you've got expansion going through your sign. You've got that pile up in Pisces trining your placements. And those are in retrograde. So there's a reworking of things. This looks interesting to me. Sometimes the opposite of a love bomber is somebody who's very conservative with their words and wants to make sure that they're not setting expectations they can't meet. And they want to check and make sure that, like, the water is fine to come on in. That's what that honestly feels like, Cancer. All right, let's look at Leo. Let's look at Leo. And then just a reminder for anybody new coming in that we are having a membership live later, and I will take a look at membership charts and or pull cards for the full moon in Aries. It has been busy, busy, busy. I promise you, I will get you the amount of videos you're all supposed to have. We'll do some catch up this week. Ooh. Okay. Wow. Leo, the tools you need to handle this week and to make sure, hey, Alicia, that you are taking what you want, expanding it, and making sure it sticks, and we're reworking the way that we give things legs and longevity, right? Because Saturn wants to stand the test of time. And I'm referencing Saturn because we have that Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter, as well as a full moon in Aries. with the ruler in its rulership in Mars and Scorpio. So it's very active week. We have full confidence. We have picking the fruit of our labors. This is very full moon energy. And, you know, a lot of you Leos are going to have the full moon trining some of your placements. It's also great if you have fifth house. And if you have Leo placements, you're also going to have that Mercury and that Mars squaring some of your placements, as well as you've had the opposition of that, you know, that Pluto in Aquarius, which will take its time to oppose. It's going to take 20 years. We're probably at 17, 18 years now still with Pluto left in. But we got a Page of Wands in reverse. You might be rethinking the way you were going to take your first steps around something. I almost want to say that you feel like you need a certification, you need something else, like you're getting ready to be ready, and you're already ready. Like this is, look at that. I feel like you have the tools that you have is you have knowledge, you have understanding, you have lived experience around something that you may be like holding yourself back from because you feel like I'm wondering if my Leos have a little Virgo energy. You already have all the tools you need. The inner conflict you're feeling doesn't need to happen because you're ready. So the tool is to process the inner conflict, but know that like you don't have to start all over on something. You have something that's very, very valuable that is innately who you are. As a person, the way you've grown, the way you've lived, your lived experiences, yes, even like your traumas and how you got through them and all the like, and you also have a very specific knowledge about something, Leo, that you should not be sleeping on. And it may be about like not having a piece of paper. Like you're ready. That's the tools. You're already ready. It's like, don't wait on it, especially while we have this like elite Saturn, Venus, Jupiter thing going on. Okay. Let's pull love cards for Leo. Love cards. Oh, a second Nine of Pentacles. This is why I use two different decks so that universe has all its words in a second deck. Leo, I feel like you've been chilling for a minute on your own because something wasn't ready or something wasn't healthy. Leo, so if you've been taking like put yourself in timeout, which is what I'm getting, and like just appreciating you and like learning to really feel good on your own, kind of like making that coffee before, like making sure that like you don't feel like anything's empty and just really sitting with yourself. Because that relationship, corny as it might be, the relationship with yourself is the most important to then have healthy relationships with anybody else. An obstacle that you once thought was something you needed, and now you're starting to see because you are deepening the relationship with self. You might have taken a break from all kinds of relationships. I'm not sure what this is. Or stay in the relationship but focused on yourself. That obstacle is moving out of the way. Like, well done you, because this would not have happened without your work. So we have obstacles moving out of the way for you. So it's possible that you might have felt like you were in hangman energy, or just like I felt stuck or felt self-imposed going into hermit. Something's moving. And on the other side of that is like healing and wish fulfillment. And I am excited for you. I almost can't wait for the next time I draw love cards for Leo, because that's how much I love this reading. I mean, come on. It's the serenity of her countenance in this. Because it's not just alone, it's happy, it's contented, it's self-fulfilled. We love that for our Leo queens and kings and whatever part of the court you want to be. Okay. I personally identify as jester. Advisor slash jester. Okay, let's look at Virgos. How are my Virgos doing? You have Venus running through your sign. Love this for you. Oh, what's other cards? What are the tools? What are the tools for Virgo for this week? How do we concretize those dreams? How do we stay diplomatic and take a breath? I'm hearing the poem that somebody gave me when I was pregnant with my first. It's something about like, it's about like there's stuff to be done and dirt to be swept, but I'm tending to my baby and babies can't be kept. Like, in other words, the whole poem is about some things can wait because there's something that needs to be nurtured. And in this case, that nurturing is you. Virgo, there is something that has been a long, maybe an overthinking, maybe a thing with maybe just a situation that's been tense or uncomfortable. And you may have acclimated it to be, that's just my life. I think the more that you accept that that thing is actually finally coming to an end, it's something you don't want to be dealing with. And the more you tell yourself that you deserve to have that be moved out of your way, the sooner it might happen. We have something that you will happily put down and balance comes in. Sometimes when we are pursuing self-refinement, which is a very Virgoian theme, I will often liken this to losing weight, and we don't see it because we're losing a quarter of a pound a day. But then we see somebody that we haven't seen in a while, and they were like, "Wow, you look great. You look like you lost a couple of pounds." This is the situation I have for Virgo. You have been busy and you've been so diligent and maybe a little hard on yourself, working on something that you literally put something to rest that I don't even know that you thought you could. I think you may have just thought this is part of my life. The more you can balance with like, this thing exists and I don't have to be the one fixing it. A little not my circus, not my monkeys for this week, and then put all of your energy into this, like releases you, and you can put all your energy into whatever that Venus is, that you value, that you want, that you desire, that expands you. Because sometimes Virgo energy will get so caught up in its acts of service and what others expect of it so that it can be productive and valuable, that it doesn't put enough time into itself. And you are balancing that. You are balancing that week, this week, and kind of giving to yourself. And the whole point though is to give to yourself and not see it as selfish. I don't know who taught all the Virgos that doing things just for yourself was selfish, but I assure you it's not. And if you're already a Virgo that's like past that point, then I applaud you. Because that's a big arc in Virgo's placement story. Okay. Let's look at, so balance it all, be a little selfish. That's your tool. Love for Virgo, love for Virgos. Huh. Let me see what the other card is, because that could express a couple different ways for my Virgos. And this is why I like synastry, compatibility, composite charts, like the placements matter. I lovingly call my my Virgos closet freaks. It is the lady in the street. We have a not toxic king, because it is in this is my mystical moments tarot, and it's one of my favorite decks. In this deck we have male and female presenting kings. So there's two kings for each suit, and there's also two emperors. With the King of Swords upside down, I'm not gonna lie, if this was like the male presenting, I might look at this as somebody is going out of their way to be a little sharp with it, to hurt your feelings, to be rude, and to presume that they know something more or whatever. It's Virgo. And I will tell you, if you have Virgo placements, you need somebody who knows as much as you. You almost want somebody like that. Henry Rollins is always like the person on the quote, like, I want somebody to teach me something new, change my world, sit me down, shut me up, and I think hold my interest or something. Somebody who is not blowing smoke up your ass. Somebody who comes in and, I'm a Virgo rising. I have a few Virgo placements, and that just happened like 2 weeks ago, where somebody was like so very direct, and I was like, whoa, was that like, did we just have kind of a fight? It wasn't a fight, but they weren't wrong. And the fact that I don't want to say felt brave enough to speak to me that way, but they know me very well. So yes, kind of brave enough to speak, but they weren't wrong. And they didn't call me out of my name. They didn't, but they were like, what the fuck? And I like, if I respect you and you have more information, or you're giving me another POV about myself, but you're also somebody that I know has my back, I love that, because then that means I learned something new. I have an awareness to something I can tend to now. Virgo is very like that. We don't mind we love constructive criticism from people we respect and we know actually care, because it gives us chance for improvement, and it's all about the self-refinement. Virgo, I see this as somebody coming in and sitting you down and shutting you up and telling you something you don't know in a way that's very fucking hot. And I think this changes things for you. Either you know this person already and you didn't see it coming out of this person, or the way that they say this to you is going to let you know that they care and they're more invested maybe than they've let on before. This kind of hot, and it's major arcana, the world's, and a court card. So it feels like whatever this could be could end up being something that definitely has legs. Libras, we're halfway through. We're going through the signs right now in membership, and I'm like, I can't wait to get to Virgo, because I feel like there's a lot of people don't. I think there's a lot people conflate about all the signs, but I will leave what I was just gonna say for that video when we get to Virgo. Okay. Woo! Okay. This is very interesting. The Three of Swords in reverse, Libra, and the Ten of Pentacles in the upright. There's a happy ending here. Not moving from a place of fear, of a place of being overpowered, of a place of not being maybe fully heard is what the tool is. Like, you cannot, this is coming in very just, I don't know if we want to say channeled or divinated. But it all is, but I don't know how to describe what I'm getting right now. There's a label, it's not coming to my head. Understanding that you don't need a situation to be corrected to heal. Libra, understanding that you, and that's just good advice for everybody. Understanding that you don't need a situation to be corrected, vindicated, confirmed, affirmed, any of it. Revenged. You don't need anything to be corrected. Proven right, wanted back, none of it. You don't need that to happen to have the happy ending. The second, and I think you're doing that this weekend, the second that you let that go, that could be something that just needs to be moved out of the way. And like this, the Ten of Pentacles is Saturn, Jupiter, Venus. It's beautiful. This is my happy ending card. And in Libra season right now, this would be justice. This would be like the Libran justice card coming to you. The only thing, the tool that you need to really use to like get what you want and let it stick and expand. That's what this is to just know that that old situation does not need to be corrected for you to heal, which includes not getting an apology from somebody that owes it to you or an acknowledgement even. Ooh, that felt like a big one. That felt like maybe like a collective message as well. All right, these cards are all kinds of backwards. We're just going to leave them. They are. Love for Libra. Love for Libra. Oh my. Okay, somebody you've known a long time. This is like the clearest reading for love that we've gotten. Somebody you've known for a long time could go back to high school, college, your 20s, but you've known that even your early 30s, depending on your age. You could have known them from a child, but you are different. They are different. I don't know if you've never all looked at each other that way before, Libra, but you have, I also always see the Judgment card as something possibly coming back with a new version of you, because it's past, present, future, and how we blend those together to make a new future. With a Six of Cups. What's interesting is Temperance came out upside down. Now, this may be very specific and not for everybody. Libra, you may have had dealt with somebody that had addiction issues or just could not stabilize because of trauma and something. We're not going to judge, right? But like whatever it was, you were always trying to be their balance for them, because that was not something they were good at keeping for themselves. there's so much healing here. There is so much understanding of like acknowledging the past to like let it affect you and heal you now so that your future looks different. And I don't know that you thought that that was something you had. I think maybe you thought like, I always get these broken birds and then it doesn't work. There's so much healing. This is like a little bit soulmate, like sweetheart kind of energy for Libra, which is so great for Libra. And if you're already in a relationship, this could be a lot of repair wherever it might have been needed. And all good relationships that last will require repair once in a while. Those ready for the next. Okay. Scorpio, how you doing? All my Scorpio energy in the chat. We talked about that last night. Last night was the last night of the trauma-informed introduction to trauma-informed tarot. But we talked about like all the Scorpio placements and how we honor people's privacy and we don't, you know, especially in public spaces, we don't reveal too much, even if we can see it. Even if the card said, we always have to make sure that we're respecting. And if you're not an astrologer and you don't know that person well, just assume they want privacy unless they tell you. Because also one person's idea of like, oh, sure, you can hit me with that. And they're not expecting you to hit them with something very deep and very personal, you know? But we were talking about Scorpios and how much Scorpio energy seems to come my way. Okay. Scorpio, there was something where I think that you needed help with something and you don't. There's different help. Ooh. Okay. The tool is to let go of something that has been part of your survival, let go of something or someone or some system that has facilitated whatever it is you've needed to get through whatever time. You can change that up in a way that allows you to have what you actually want and have it be long lasting, which for some reason I'm getting like you feel like that's not for me. This is just the situation I'm in. This is, you know, my bed. I have to lay in it. And of course things suck, blah, blah, blah. No, there's a whole new beginning here. There's new stability and believing in yourself that you are worth having that new start and that you're not stuck as some form of like fucked up punishment and whatever the situation. And you may also feel like this person, I needed their help. I almost feel like a deal with the devil kind of thing. Not really the devil, but you know what I mean. But this feels like it's loosening up. This feels like it is loosening up but you have to, your tools that you need is that you have to believe yourself worth that new start and that like, it isn't your purgatory to have to deal with something, just because that's what you thought it was at one point. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your worth to have a new start. You may believe in yourself in a million other ways, but it is the unstuck energy that is the best tool for you this week, because you really can, especially with the Mercury and Mars talking to that transformation. And of course, Jupiter is trining, Saturn is trining your placements. Like, holy cow, it's all there for you, but you have to be able to like take that step out of your fixed, I'm in punishment energy. Okay, love cards for Scorpio. Love, maybe a little brown chicken, brown cow. Okay. Lots of like changes here for Scorpio. You can't control this situation. I don't know if you've been trying to control your feelings or control the situation by like not allowing yourself. This almost feels connected. There's a whole change for you. There's a shift This could be a closing of a chapter, not of a whole book. But it's also starting something new. Like the Wheel of Fortune feels like a stroke of good luck. You may have had dynamics between you and partners before, or even in your existing partnership, where one person had to have control, or there was like a dynamic, or they came in like an angel and then stayed to like shame you. And that did not feel good. Like help with strings, or love with strings, or relationship, I don't know, but this feels like a stroke of luck and something like healthy, different than what you're used to, and that may take you a while to get used to, because especially like we know the nervous system will almost stay comfy in the uncomfortable, in the unpleasant, in the hell that it knows, rather than risk heaven if it doesn't really know to have that, especially with longevity. You know, it's very interesting. I said in the beginning of all of this, when I was doing the astrology, that sometimes just the idea of expecting something to have longevity could be triggering. And I feel that around this situation for Scorpio, but you have a stroke of luck and possibly somebody coming in. It looks like maybe you need some change up, and believe that you're worth all of that. Like you can have a fresh start, and it doesn't have to be toxic, because there's a non-toxic person. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be that incredible. It doesn't have to be like this big story. And that's a whole self-worth thing sometimes. Like the harder the get, then we feel like, oh, look, see, I was worth that. I was worth that get. And sometimes the price we pay later for that get is not worth it. Until we deconstruct the idea that we're just worth something easy and lovely, it's harder to accept all of those things. Okay. Sagittarius, just be the Sagittarius bad bitch that you are. Okay. I mean, need we say more? Sag. We have, hey, Danny. We have a Queen of Wands and a Magician. And look at her. Just be the bad bitch that you are. I also, if you have some Sagittarius, you know, you're Sagittarius and you know things, and you've got like a handle on all of your big giant psychic gifts. Holy cow. You could make some fun full moon water, or put some certain crystals out during this. But just go do it, lady. The Magician and the Queen of Wands, this is so creative. You might hit a jackpot on Saturday, not gonna lie. Yeah, because you'll have, I mean, the Saturn and the Venus are squaring, which is very creative energy. These cards are very creative. Use your creativity, use your confidence, use your Sagittariusness, which is like bold and audacious and lovely and charming and captivating. Like, go use all this, because you can make whatever. This is manifestation, and this is knowing, and there's no better energy to manifest it than the Queen of Wands, quite honestly. I always talk about spicy manifesting, might be also with all the spicy energy this week. You know, when it's time to say, oh my God, or whoever's name you're thinking of, or Tom Hardy, then instead whatever the thing is that you want, say that. Pull it in that way. Ooh, let's get your love card, Sagittarius. Well, that was very clear. Another one, we have healed, sweetheart, kind of real soulmate energy. May know them for a while. What else do we have, Sag? Sagittarius and ninth house placements. The only thing that would say committed, celebrated, divine, healed, deep soulmate, sweetheart relationship more than this is, I would say this is like going to the chapel if the Hierophant came out also. This is the very interesting. And it's very interesting also that it's Sagittarius and the Hierophant, because like don't put them in that box. But however, if a Sag gets married, that's a good, don't skip that wedding. Do not skip any party that a Sagittarius throws. But do I even need it is the Four of Wands and the 11 and the Six of Cups. This is kind of like a meant to be healed. Like this relationship is not only divinely guided, and this person may have come in from like an unusual way, but also they speak to the part of you before all the social constructs and the trauma responses set in, which means the relationship itself is very healing, like on a daily basis. Sagittarius for the win. Like, I wish I had some Sag placements right about now. What an amazing reading. Okay, Capricorn. Ooh, ooh. Capricorn, the tools for you this week are a little bit of self-reflection and softness. Like, take a step. Especially when I feel like if things get like people want to have messy conversations or like pull on you or expect, because you do a lot for people, and it's almost like sometimes they get used to it and then they have like, well, but you didn't do this one thing. I'm getting like Veruca Salt kind of personality. Like you could not do more for them and somehow they're like going to be upset with you or something. Be gentle with yourself and pull back a little bit. Don't even engage. And I know that Capricorn will usually take the engage road, but that's the tools, because there's so much wisdom in that, and it's better to not engage and then be worried about whether the fight, like they understand that you are right and they are wrong, more than more that they understand that you are right and they are wrong. Did I say that the first time? Right, you are right, they are wrong. Why do I keep feeling like I said it the opposite? That's so odd. But you're just gonna come back. I want, and that's a little scary when a Capricorn goes, okay, not that they don't love brevity, but usually not in these kind of situations. This could be a work situation too. I almost want to say take a day off. take a personal day, like, and like restructure. Don't give your energy to anyone else. That's the tools. Because, you know, Capricorn is humanitarian, one person at a time. Love cards for Capricorn. Okay. I gotta tell you, Capricorn, I think somebody has a little crush on you. You might think in one way or another that they're out of your league, or that they look like the kind of person that doesn't have to be loyal to anyone, and they're not, or they look like a player. And you're like, they're not really interested in me, or they're not interested. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You might have some choices here, Capricorn. It might get interesting. And there's somebody that you might have thought like had a little crush on or something else that's been like a while back, and you just did not think that that was ever a possibility. And also you thought if they did, it wouldn't be worth it because yeah, no, they are, and they will, and they would. They really, really would, Capricorn. They wish you would too. Now, I don't know what your situation is, but I'm just telling you. Hot damn. Bad girls do it well. Do. Uh, yeah. You think that they're a player and they are actually really interested in you. I'm not gonna lie, their interest may be a little fresher, a little newer. It might have been something you said. All of a sudden, they're like, "Ooh, what's that?" And they are feeling it for you. But I think you think they're a player, and also that they would never really be interested into you more than one, like, you know, incredible night of 51 shades of Capricorn. But no, they really are. Okay. Woo! Aquarius, things are moving. What else do we have here? What's the other tools? One, you got to let universe, like, don't overthink it. If things are moving, let them move. It's in your best interest. Oh my goodness. Okay. You got the lovers, the chariot, and the ace of cups as what tools you need. That just feels like it's safe to go back in the water. So one of the tools may just be you may be getting or giving this could even be work related, but like there's an acknowledgement that something has moved from like yeah, I can deal with you, to I respect you, to like I love you, dude. There's choice here, but there's movement. This, let me tell you something. You could get the chariot, the lovers, and the ace of cups, and this could be about like amazing career momentum, because the chariot moves us and its universe is like, yep, we're moving now. You can trust me. It's okay. And we're making a big move, right? And it's cardinal, but it's nurturing. It's like your guides love you and got you. And so like they've got, you're not really driving, you're taking the ride in the chariot. In the lovers, the Gemini card, it's the choice. It feels very destined. There could have been some conflict. Could this be also like another like the tools you need to walk into is let universe move you without overthinking it. You're gonna have to choose. It can't be both. But wherever you feel the most like alignment, almost in a knowing, divinatory, intuitive kind of way, where it feels comfortable, like this person has my back, like this person loves me, like that is the choice that you make. It's very clear. You're moving. There's a choice to be made. Make it with alignment, make it, and like, it'll feel right. It might be something for you to like pull a card about or something. Okay. Love cards for Aquarius. And then we are at Pisces. Okay. You get something. Yeah. It was moved out of the way or somebody. I've been getting a lot of readings for Aquarius. Like, you're not about the drama and they are, and you're realizing you might have to like let them go. I think when you don't feed the attention monster, they're going to move out of the way. Yeah. The love cards is an obstacle that was there, which I'm not going to lie, may have been a person that wouldn't go away, or like there couldn't have been, there might have been an attraction between you and another person. And you might have had like the clingy ex that like really didn't believe that it was over or something, or even an ex from a while ago that made somebody else like, I used to have a thing up that says like, don't talk to me if you have a girlfriend that thinks that they're your girlfriend, even if they're not your girlfriend, like an ex that you speak to 300 times a day. Like there was the whole like, because nobody wants that mess. And you're not messy like that either, but sometimes you're so good at solutions, you find people that always have problems, right? What do I always say about Aquarius? You're not a Home Depot. You're not just there for people to come get all the tools they need, like, and use you, and you're like giving out solutions left and right. And they just keep coming back and they don't they don't create their own set of tools for themselves. I haven't even got to look at that, Kate, because I could see the volume of it. And so you might not hear from me about that till tomorrow because it's been roller skates for me. Something gets easy. A situation, it could be a work situation where now you guys don't work together. Some kind of obstacle between you and somebody else comes out of the way, and all of a sudden it becomes easy. All of a sudden it becomes easy. And what I love about Aquarius is you're not the kind, you don't have the kind of energy where it's like, well, now it's easy and I'm not interested. um, so I'm just saying an obstacle between you and another person gets moved out of the way and things get easier. And listen, that could be you're in a relationship and somebody's step kid or in-laws or something finally moved out and got their own place, but there was tension between that could happen. There could be a million different things, but talk about decompression. Interesting. Pisces, you're getting the moon for this week. And none of the other cards, they're all dumping instead of jumping. I'm gonna tell you the tool is ground, ground, ground. You're going to see a lot of details and a lot of things that you're going to become aware about Pisces. And sometimes it's a little hard for Pisces because we want to have that Jupiterian, let's believe the best in everybody. I mean, Venus is exalted in Taurus, in Pisces. We have Neptune, right, representing Pisces. We want to take that Scorpio Mars, really take the action to look deeper and let it in and don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. You are lovely and sweet, and don't take it personal. It is what it is, and let it illuminate, and don't try to go la la la. That's not happening. That is your best tool for this week, Pisces, truly. Let's pull some. And part of this, who knows, all this illumination for you. And by the way, Pisces, your major arcana card is the moon. So this is a big thing. This is like a big moment, big opportunity in this full moon for you. And 0 degrees of Neptune, and 0 degrees of Mercury trining your placements, possibly in Scorpio. But we can't have the deeper conversations without all of the truth, right? Okay. I think you got one. You're going to let go of somebody that's overdue for you to let go of them. And I think, yep, you are no longer playing their games. There's a panty dropping. Yeah. Your love cards is that you free yourself. Something is, I can feel the energy of something coming in, but you want to give process and time to the closure of what you're letting out. What you're letting out is a King of Wands that comes in and says what they got to say, and almost seems like a little magical, or a little, because they're like so confident, and there might be something in there that feels very attractive to you. Tell yourself you're the shit. Tell yourself that you're fucking amazing. Like, don't admire it in another person and be attracted to it that way. That just, if you're attracted to something in somebody else, figure out how to be that. 100%. The chess playing. We're not like, we're going to have an epiphany that like, oh, that person's kind of like just coming around when they need an ego stroke, which feels like what this is. This is the only 6 of Wands, as much as I love this deck, but I'm not, because the success is because we are maybe doing a little manipulation. You know what? Like, this person maybe has played games with your heart, played games with your head, and all in the name of they need their own validation. So like, you're so loving and sweet and cotton candy, billowy, lovely energy that you give them the validation because you value somebody acknowledging and seeing you and concretizing the things that you appreciate the most, right? And I think in this full moon energy, you're going to see a lot, but one of the things you're going to see is like, oh, this person, not worth the salt in my tears. I'm going to just split the deck. Yeah. You've got a lovely Knight of Pentacles coming in. I don't think it's this week, but I can metaphysically feel it for you, Pisces, 12th house placements as well. So there is a lovely Knight of Pentacles, which is going to be slow and steady, and take your time. And just so when this person comes along, which may be a couple weeks from now, because let me finish what I was saying before. Pisces energy, always give yourself time to process fully, because if you don't, that is when the lack of rigidity in the nebulous, beautiful, empathetic, cotton candy walls of Pisces will let somebody permeate back in, because we haven't fully processed. If Pisces is here to like learn boundaries, one of the best ways to just easily feel a boundary and not only create it but execute it is to make sure we have given ourselves the gentle time to fully process something, which the other good thing that you have going for you is that sometimes Pisces is okay at ghosting people, but we want to ghost and process, not ghost and distract. You want to no contact and process. Do not go no contact and then just distract, because the really well processed kind of post-mortem about whoever was not being as good to you as they should be, or being manipulative because you were trying to help, you were trying to be a good person. We want them completely out before this, slow and steady. And I love, this is very Capricorn, and I love Cap and Pisces together. Love, love, love. Okay, kids, that was this week. Go figure out what you want and go figure out a way, and don't give your energy to the messiness and the spiciness. Well, you can give your energy to some kind of spicy, the good spicy, not the bad spicy, not the spicy messy. You know, I almost just said things I should not on a public channel. That's my Virgo in the 12th house. I love you. No, you love you. Please like and share. You know how I use the internet because you're on YouTube. You can find me giving astrology sessions and consults and all kinds of help and guidance with that through my website, which will take you to Lori Rivers' Awake Space, because that's where I book astrology. And you can find my metaphysical appointments on my website. Either way, you go to either way. Yeah, and we're getting ready to start getting the intermediate tarot class together. The intro class was amazing. And it's just an exciting, good time. And I hope that I'm being helpful and impactful to all of you, because that is my most fervent wish. Have a great week. I will see you all soon. Members, I'll see you in a few minutes. Bye.